the 33rd Guam Legislature has a very special resolution to present to the family of the late Albert T. San Agustin. I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution for the record so that our listening audience from our beautiful island will have an opportunity to see to hear the life work of what Mr. San Agustin has done for his community, education to our community, but more importantly, all the other achievements that he has done to work with the disability community. So with that being said, I'd like to thank the family of Mr. Albert San Agustin, T. Lou and T. Mary and family for being here to accept this resolution on behalf of Uncle Albert. Ladies and gentlemen, this is resolution number 38-33 LS. It was introduced by myself, Speaker Judith Wonpat, Vice Speaker Benjamin Cruz, Senator Narissa Underwood, and the rest of the members of the 33rd Guam Legislature. I want to note for the record that it was an LS resolution. It had to be voted on, and I want to say that it was voted by all our members. It was unanimous, and it was presented on session floor. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is relative to recognizing and memorializing the late Albert T. San Agustin for his many outstanding achievements and his dedication to servicing Guam and its people, and to further extending our sincere and humble condolences to the family on behalf of I Liheslaturan Guåhan and the people of Guam. Whereas the late Albert T. San Agustin was born on May 29, 1944, and he was called to his eternal reward on February 13, 2015, at the age of 70. And the late Albert T. San Agustin is the son of Candido Sanchez San Agustin and Maria Taitano San Agustin. And the late Albert T. San Agustin fell in love on May 4th, 1968, he married Lourdes Agan San Agustin, his wife of 46 years. And the late Albert T. San Agustin and Lourdes Agan San Agustin were blessed with a son, J.J. Albert San Agustin, who is married to Corinne Baza San Agustin, and that the late Albert T. San Agustin's career spanned for more than 44 years in both the private sector and with the government of Guam. Beginning with his position as a teacher of the Guam Department of Education, where he served from August 1967 to June of 1969. He then transferred to the position of school program consultant, also with the federal programs with the ESEAs 1, 4, and 7, serving from July 1970 to August 1971. From September 1971 to November 1972, the late Albert T. San Agustin held the position of Deputy Director of the Bureau of Budget and Management Research, which we call BBMR now, Federal Programs Clearinghouse, and he then served as Deputy Director of Education from November of 1972 to April of 74. And a year later, the late Uncle Albert San Agustin became an executive assistant to the governor from August 1975 to July 1976. Then he transferred back to the Department of Education, where he became the Director of Education, serving from 1976 to 1977. And in June of 1977, the late Albert T. San Agustin took on the position of Administrator of the Guam Health Planning Agency, where he remained there until 1978. And from 1979 to 1981, the late Albert T. San Agustin worked in the private sector, where he took on the position of Regional Executive Director with Family Health Planning, and he served as the Executive Director of Pacific Post-Secondary Education Council from 1981 to 1982. The late Albert T. San Agustin then served as administrator of the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, DVR, rehab facilities for 6 years from 1983 to 1989. And then as an administrator for DVR overall from the year 2000 to 2011. And the part-time work experiences of the late Albert T. San Augustine included GEDs, the Adult Basic Education Instructor. He was an upward bound counselor. He was a part of the Central Texas College instructor for the Naval Apprenticeship Program. He was an instructor with the Guam Community College. He was an instructor with the University of Guam. Also, he was with the University of Guam's Alumni Relations Coordinator, graduate, an assistant. He was also with the Dale Carnegie Institute as a graduate assistant. He was also with the University of Minnesota, American International University as a president planner, with the Defense Driving Education Instructor, Head Start Program Coordinator Teacher. He was also with the Academy of Our Lady as an instructor and management instructor for the Department of Administration. And the teaching experiences of the late Albert T. San Augustine include a teacher a teacher 6 from 1967 to 1970 and 1974 to 1975. He was a teacher of civics and American government, Academy of Our Lady of Guam in 1967, Head Start teacher with the College of Guam in the summer of 1966, Central Texas College Naval Apprentices classes for 2 years. He was the GED instructor. He with evening classes for 2 years. He was teaching business organization and human relations at the Guam Community Colleges. He was an instructor for special education and supervised teacher interns in the schools of the University of Guam for 2 semesters. He was an instructor for report writing, human relations, customer service, and supervision for IT&E. He was the leadership instructor for all government of Guam supervisors. He was an instructor for the American Education of American International University for several semesters, and he conducted workshops in the Chuk State for school principals, and in concert with the University of Minnesota, the late Albert T. San Augustine participated in a unique doctoral program that was designed to prepare for the position of school superintendent, and where he completed his doctoral courses that would have met the challenges of the school superintendent as follows: the Foundation Educational Administration, the legal implications of education administration, the school community relations, humanism in school administration, junior high school, principles of secondary school curriculum, community schools, elementary school principals, secondary school curriculum, problems in educational administration, social organization, social psychology, formal educations and research theories, educational administration, quantitative analysis, foundations, comparative philosophies of education, and thesis research, and the impressive educational background of the late Albert T. San Augustine include earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in social science education in 1967, earning a master's degree in secondary school administration curriculum in 1970, and he was a PhD candidate, having completed the PhD educational leadership work plus preliminary examination in 1975. And other civic and government experience of the late Albert T. San Augustine include being elected to the Guam Board of Education, serving as a member and chairman from 1980 to 1982, the secretary of the Young Men's League of Guam in 1966, was president of the HITA Teachers Union, president and co-founder of Guam's Nurserymen's Association, educational leadership consultant for the Chuk Department of Education, and talk show host for Access Radio K57. And before his passing, the late Albert T. San Augustine was re-elected to serve the Guam Education Board in the general election held in November 4th, 2014. And the late Albert T. San Augustine will always be fondly remembered for his hard work, dedication, and selfless efforts, and a humble and caring heart for the well-being of the family he loved and the community he so devotedly served. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I Liheslaturan Guåhan does hereby, on behalf of the people of Guam, recognize and memorialize the late Albert T. San Augustine for his extensive achievements and dedication, and does further extend sincere and humble condolences to his family on his passing, and be further resolved that the Speaker certify and the Legislative Secretary attest to the adoption whereof, and that copies of the same be thereafter transmitted to the family of the late Albert T. San Augustine and to the Honorable Edward J.B. Calvo, I Liheslaturan Guåhan. Ladies and gentlemen, this was duly and regularly adopted by the 33rd Guam Legislature on the 18th day of March 2015. It was signed by our Speaker, Speaker Juan Pat, and myself, Senator Muña Barnes, as Legislative Secretary. And at this time, I'd like to call the family up, his wife, his daughter-in-law, and his sister-in-law are here to accept the presentation. And more importantly, as we honor his achievements, I just want to say that I worked closely with Uncle Albert for 6 years at the Department of Integrated Services for Individuals with Disabilities. And I want to share with you that he was such a kind man. Working with disabilities wasn't an easy task to try and bring all disability issues and concerns to a one-stop center, and it was through his leadership and his ideas that he was able to incorporate and bring that all together. And having worked 6 years with him and knowing that his passion and love to educating people and teaching him in all walks of life, it was really fitting, and on behalf of the 33rd Guam Legislature, a gift to show that his legacy will live on, because he believed that education and teaching was the key to full success. And with the blessings of his lovely wife and his family, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for sharing him with the rest of the government and the rest of the community, and to all the educators and to all those that he extended that olive branch to and that hand to take his expertise and his intellectual experience to share it with the rest of the islands. I want to say undanklo na si Diyos masi to the family for sharing him with us. So with that being said, we present this resolution to Etilu on behalf of the 33rd Guam Legislature. Our deepest condolences on the loss of Uncle Albert. We will truly miss him, and the people of Guam truly has lost a very good man, a very educated man. So thank you for loving us and sharing us with him. Si Diyos masin, si Diyos ang binidisi. Would you like to say? On behalf of the family, they'd like to say thank you to the people of Guam for this, and they really appreciate it. Thank you.